Alrighty, y'all. Welcome back. It's day 67, shoulders and core today. So, we fooled around last week with doing two triple sets, more or less, for shoulders. And truthfully, it felt really good. It was super quick to get through. I was only out here for like half an hour or something. Real good pump. And the shoulders actually ended up feeling fairly fatigued and sore the next day. So it's a little more effective than I thought it was going to be. So I want to go ahead and try to repeat that today and see how it feels. Maybe we'll do a little more, another set or two. But I mean, for the most part, we knocked it out. We did like 5 sets on this first arrangement and then 3 or 4 on the second. So it effectively hit everything. Ooh. So, first movement there, front raises, front delt. Now, side raises to try to focus in on those medial delts. This will also engage the front delt and a very, very little bit on that rear delt. And then face pulls. Start narrowing in on that rear delt, as well as getting into that inner trap. A little bit of rhomboid. We'll make some weight adjustments, and we'll move on. So I went ahead and added 10 more pounds onto each stack here. Make everything a little heavier. These slow, cable reps, man, they will get you. Oh. Taking them nice and slow, trying not to swing the body on any of this. Makes a big difference in the amount of weight you need to actually target the muscle effectively. Woo. I think one thing that kind of gets a lot of people is they don't work at a proper weight. They're either working too light, and they can get through 5 sets of 10, 15 reps, and still not be fatigued. Oh. Oh. Which if you can get through 5 full sets and you could hit a 6th set, the weight's not heavy enough. Definitely got to move the weight up. You're just kind of here doing a bunch of warm-up sets and never actually working out. Oh. And then you've got the opposite of that, where people are working at such a heavy weight, they're using their whole body to do a shoulder movement, or they're doing partials, and they never do a full rep. Like, there's a place for partials, but if you're doing them for every rep on every set, that's not how you do them. But a lot of people throw on so much weight that they can't even squeeze the muscle they're trying to work because a bigger muscle group has to take over for it. Ugh. Ooh. Woo! But, so, if you're swinging a bunch of weight, and you may or may not be getting a decent pump, but you just don't have that soreness and fatigue, the weight's too heavy and you're cheating yourself. Lighten the weight up, and I bet you your exercise is going to get better. If you can get through a full 5 sets, and you're not fatigued to the point to where if you try to do a 6th set, you're only going to get 3 or 4 reps, the weight's too light. You got to bump that up. You're just here, again, turning your wheels, just kind of warming up and never actually working out. So a lot of people kind of will mistake that warm-up, blood flow and pump for actually doing something in the gym, even though they never actually loaded their body. So it's kind of one of those weird, yeah, you showed up, you got a pump, but you didn't do enough work to actually progress anywhere. And they wonder why they don't get stronger and their body doesn't change. But that, I'm going to adjust the weights one more time, and we'll get to our 4th set. Oh. Oof. Oof. Front delts, cooked. Ooh. 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 That'll do ya. That'll do ya. All right, so next 3 exercises. Rear cable fly, overhead press, upright row. Let me get set up for them, and we'll get those knocked out now. So we're going to start kind of light on these overhead presses, see how they feel this week. Last week, that Del felt a little angry doing these, so we kept them pretty light. All right, well, we know for our next set, we can move up some from the 25s. That's nice. Ooh. I think these are probably my favorite, like, shoulder day movement, because they hit just such a specific way. Makes the back of my shoulders just feel massive. Woo! Boy, oh boy. All right. I'll grab the next set of dumbbells, take a little rest, then we'll hit the next little rotation. All right, so we're going to go 15 pounds on the dumbbells from the 25s to the 40s and see how these feel today. Pretty good, pretty good. Truthfully, with the way those feel today, I think we'll go for one more set, but moving up. And we'll shoot for the 55s. So it's not that we haven't done 55s already, but I'm trying to make sure we don't mess with that insertion. Ooh. But again, like we were kind of touching on already, you got to see where you can effectively feel and squeeze the muscles with the weight you're working with. So, and it's always going to change. That's, the weird thing about the body is one day you might really be on it, be super strong. Another day, not so strong. but you're also going to progress and get stronger over time. And because you're going to get stronger over time, the weights are going to move up. But sometimes you mentally just don't realize you've gotten stronger. And so you never move the weight up, which is what stalls a lot of people, I think, is they'll get to where they kind of move a weight to where they look like they're doing okay in the gym because others are around them. And then they forget to push themselves because they're already stronger than that. I think that's one of the things I do like about, working out at home. I don't mind pushing myself. I do. We can see that. But I think it's only because I actually record these videos. If I wasn't recording these here, I don't know if I'd actually try as hard as I do, to be honest. And I think I probably push myself a little harder when I'm at a gym and around people. Because I've got that little pit bull, alpha mentality of I want to be the strongest dude in the gym. So when I see someone stronger, I'm like, all right, that's a dude I gotta catch. And then I'm gonna put in everything I can to catch and pass that guy in strength. So I think originally that's why I did so well in my early to mid 20s when I was working out super hard to try to compete, is because I'm just fairly naturally competitive. And I'm kind of competitive with just even myself. Otherwise, I definitely wouldn't be, setting a goal to try to pull 500 pounds, try to freaking bench press and squat 315 pounds. The shit's heavy. And sometimes it sucks being strong. Because when you do come in to work out, everything's heavy as fuck. But, for the most part, when you do push that point and everything is heavy and you're like, fuck, you're so far ahead of the rest of the population that you can always be like, you know what? I've put in so much work and I've achieved this and not many other people can. It's something to feel really good and accomplished about. And that's something people forget about too, is being able to assess their accomplishments and their progress, which it's hard. I've made a lot of progress, but deep down, my self-reflection of myself, I'm still just a fat, weak piece of shit. But in reality, I'm pretty strong. I'm still a little chunky, but I'm way thinner than I was, a lot leaner. And I've made a lot of progress that the average person probably will never make, truthfully. But it still doesn't feel that way, if that makes sense. So you got to be able to accept your accomplishments. And that's super hard for a lot of people too. Whether it's self-esteem, depression, anxiety. There's a lot of reasons why people negatively self-reflect versus positively self-reflect. But let me grab the next set of dumbbells, drink a little more of my gym juice over there, my pre-workout and BCAA's creatine. And then we'll get into this third set. And then we can move into core, which last week we did a dip with a knee raise combination. I think I want to try to do those again. pretty good. 55s for 10. Not too bad. I feel like I could probably knock out 70s, but I don't think that little delt insertion can take that today. So we will definitely call it for those. Knock out our last set of rear cable flies and our upright rows. Tell y'all what, those like 2 triple sets, those things are killer, man. My freaking shoulders are cooked. I think that just high pace, like no rest, pushes just so much blood in my shoulders, and it is so fatiguing because of it. But it's a different style of training, and my shoulders, at least the way they felt last time, they were pretty sore and fatigued from it. So I think the little change up is definitely a necessity, and I think it's going to do good for my overall shoulder development. So, yes, dips are a chest and tricep movement, but if you focus on, instead of driving with your triceps, kind of like pulling your arm downwards, like you're trying to do a front raise, and just really like roll back up, you get to take a lot of the chest out of it and minimize some of that tricep, and you can really feel a lot of front delt engage, as well as you could get some rear delt engagement to like pull the lat back and up again kind of feeling. So it's it takes a little getting used to and feeling for that muscle contraction. So I'm thinking about kind of like almost reverse rowing. So rowing, when you're coming up like this, and you're pulling with your shoulder, I'm thinking about just doing the opposite, like just rowing forward. And I can get my shoulders and my delts engaged to do so. So that's why I've kind of playing around with these. And I get a really, really big stretch down at that bottom position, which actually could be why today's shoulder day feels so good is because I got a big stretch into the shoulder joint and loosened it up some. So, because I don't feel as like tight and bound up. But let's knock out one more set of these things and then go get our cardio done. Holy crap. That is all I got. My shoulders feel cooked. But with that, guys, make sure you're out there working toward your goals, getting your stuff done. Most of all, just don't be a lazy fuck.